You're watching 11 Alive Morning News. 11 minutes of nonstop news starts now.
Your 11 minutes of nonstop news starts with a check of the forecast.
Chesley, we are heading into the weekend riding on a little bit of a heat wave.
Yeah, I'll call it a little baby one, right? A little baby heat wave. It's not going to last long. We didn't make it up to 80 yesterday, or 90 rather yesterday, but today we certainly could. We have an air quality alert to pass along to you. Code orange for the metro counties. That means it's going to be unhealthy for sensitive groups. Those sensitive to ground level ozone, limit your time outside for today. Plenty of sunshine out there right now. We'll have plenty of it all day long. We're starting off with temperatures in the 60s for the most part, even some 70s sprinkled in here, but we'll hit the 90s later on this afternoon. In fact, 93 degrees, your forecast high temperature for today. Back to you.
The parents of a 22-year-old shot and killed by police say they are heartbroken, and they're also angry because they say they tried to get him help. Their son is accused of shooting a security guard at a Buckhead restaurant.
They say none of this would have happened because police had already been warned that their son was having a mental health crisis. Molly Oak is live in Buckhead. And Molly, the parents say that leading up to that shooting, every moment was critical.
And today, parents are giving us new details. First off, they gave us this photo of Nigel Cullins this morning. This is the man police killed after getting a call about an unruly customer with a gun. We also have new video from ATL Scoop, which shows the moments right after the shooting. You can see people scattered around Fogo de Chao off Piedmont Road northeast. Police say an officer initially found Cullins near the bar and tried to take him outside. When the officer used his taser, police say it had a negative effect, and Cullins tried to walk outside the restaurant. The security guard then tried to tackle him, and police say that's when the man shot the security guard. Then police shot Cullins, killing him. Today, parents say they called police earlier to tell them their son was suffering with his mental health and that this could have been avoided.
If you would have came at least an hour and 15 minutes, an hour and 20 minutes early, my son would have still been here. I would have rather for him to be in a psychiatric hospital opposed to being outside in a body bag.
Georgia Bureau of Investigation is looking into the shooting. Meanwhile, police tell us the security guard is in stable condition. Guys.
This is at least the second shooting at a Buckhead restaurant in less than a month. Just 2 weeks ago, GBI says an off-duty Atlanta police officer shot and killed a man near Roaster's Rotisserie on Lenox Road. Investigators say he got into a struggle over his gun with the suspect before shooting the man and killing him. The officer was not injured.
Today, the jury will hear closing arguments in the trial of Ryan Duke. Then they'll decide whether he's guilty of killing Osceola teacher and beauty queen Tara Grinstead. On day 8, prosecutors called on a GBI inspector to analyze Ryan Duke's confession. Duke's lawyers have argued that his confession was false because he was under the influence of painkillers and he was scared of his friend and roommate, Bo Dukes. He claims Dukes is the one who actually killed Grinstead. But the GBI says investigators were able to corroborate Duke's confession.
The Home Depot Foundation is launching an effort to tackle the lack of affordable housing in Atlanta. The organization plans to invest more than $2 million into several local nonprofits. Part of the goal is to keep more people in their homes by making repairs at no cost, as well as provide additional housing for some of the city's most vulnerable populations, including homeless veterans. Morris Brown College is on the receiving end of a $100,000 donation. It's all courtesy of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. The money will go towards scholarships to help sustain the school. The sorority's goal is to award, get this, $10 million to HBCUs in 4 years.
Atlanta Centers for Disease Control will meet to talk about COVID boosters for children. The FDA has given its approval for a third dose of the Pfizer vaccine for kids age 5 to 11. Jerry Carnes is live at the CDC to tell us what parents need to know. So curious about a timeline here, Jerry.
Well, Cheryl, depending on when the CDC comes out with its recommendation, COVID boosters for children could be available as early as tomorrow, and then it will be up to parents. Her children are old enough for the COVID-19 vaccine, but Jessica Samuelson isn't ready for that. She and her husband are vaccinated, but mom feels there are too many unknowns when it comes to her 9 and 14-year-old.
People are still getting COVID even with the vaccine. So they're around germs all the time. So I wasn't really in a rush to get them vaccinated.
Dr. Cecil Bennett specializes in family medicine. He's heard from other parents who feel just like Jessica Samuelson.
Given the fact that only about 29% of children right now are fully vaccinated. So the likelihood of parents making the decision to boost their children, I don't think that's going to be a very high percentage, unfortunately.
It's now up to the CDC to issue recommendations concerning booster shots for children 5 to 11 years old. The Food and Drug Administration's emergency use authorization calls for an additional shot of the Pfizer vaccine at least 5 months after a child's last shot. Children get a smaller dose of Pfizer's COVID vaccine, 10 micrograms instead of 30. The company told the FDA that in clinical trials, a third shot increased protection against the Omicron variant as much as 36 times. Dr. Bennett feels the CDC's recommendations need to focus on children who are at high risk.
If I had an obese child, if I had a child with asthma, with cystic fibrosis, I would definitely target those parents to get those children their booster as soon as possible.
While he believes it's up to the parents, he recommends vaccines for all who are eligible.
When they're older and they can make their own choices.
So far, Jessica Samuelson's unvaccinated children have avoided COVID. Next month, the Food and Drug Administration will meet to discuss Moderna's COVID booster for children.
All right, Jerry, thanks a lot. It is 6:55 now.
Here's what you need to know before you head out the door this morning. President Biden is leaving today for his first trip to Asia as president. Biden plans to visit South Korea and Japan during the 5-day trip. The White House hopes this trip deepens ties with both governments and economies in order to improve the lives of people here at home and in the region.
In just hours, the man accused of killing 10 people at a Buffalo supermarket this weekend will be in a racist rampage will be in court again. Investigators say Peyton Gendron is a self-professed white supremacist who set out to kill black people.
Meantime, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi plans to address the racist mass shooting in Buffalo. Members of the Congressional Tri-Caucus and House Democrats, they're holding a press conference today. They'll deliver those remarks on the steps of the nation's capital.
In Rockdale County, family, friends, and those in blue will come together today to remember a fallen deputy. This morning, there is a funeral service for Deputy Walter Jenkins. He was killed while directing traffic last week. The service is at World Changers Church International in College Park at 11.
All right, we're looking at a hot day today. 93 degrees will be your forecast high temperature. It's going to remain in the 90s for tomorrow as well. Anywhere from partly to mostly sunny skies will be the call. Looking at 90 again on Saturday with a 20% chance for the rain, 50% chance as we head into the weekend, Saturday, Sunday in particular, and then Monday we're looking at that 50% chance for the rain to be around.
The war in Ukraine has affected all of us in one way or another. Local celebrity radio host Bert Weiss said what he saw on the news was so heartbreaking he had no choice but to go there and help out. He's now in Poland. I spoke with him about his experience, which he calls truly humbling.
I think you can see the pride in their faces and the confusion in their faces. And I'm the same way you are, that they seem like a very determined people. And, you know, the ratio of women coming off these buses to guys is staggering. And it's because everybody is still in the country fighting. I talked to one woman who was in her 30s, and she said that her dad had never picked up a rifle before, but he's back in the country and he's doing everything that he can. So I think that strength that you're seeing on TV, I am feeling also.
We're going to put that entire interview up because he told me some of these stories that we hear in the news, and they are true. Some of these atrocities. And he said as these women and children were coming off the bus, a simple lollipop given to a child would bring a mother to tears because it was just a friendly face.
And these are the stories that are important to realize. Each life that's impacted, you know, it's just not a story that comes and goes.
Yeah, and he even said, imagine this. You take a map and you see Canada here, Mexico here, and the United States is just gone. He said that's what these people are dealing with.
Wow. All right. A lot more on 11alive.com. All right, everybody, have a safe day. Today's show is coming up next. We'll see you back here tomorrow morning.